So this is after I recorded that last video and edited it, or however you say that, but I sound very drunk in the rest of the video. But let me know how you guys like the video, and let me know anything that I can change. It will be much obliged. Well, it's November 13th at 8:10 p.m. I already recorded this video, but I decided not to use it just because I didn't like the way it looked. And this week's been pretty good. It's been fairly decent, I'd say. I'm trying to get the routine stuck in my mind, but you know, it's kind of hard to get the routine stuck in my mind and trying to redo it every single day when you're not going from nothing, but kind of starting from nothing, of not doing all this and then trying to better yourself. There's a couple of things I want to talk about today, and I don't know. We'll get to those things. Now we're locked in. I think a lot about success, and I think a lot about becoming successful, and with that, there has to be some changes within somebody's lifestyle to become successful. You may be already on the road to become successful, but there's always something you can change. There's always something you can better. And a lot of people ask themselves, what's the point in becoming successful if I don't think it'll ever happen? If I sit here and really nothing happens in this small period of time I try. And a lot of people spend their lives thinking that, and I know a lot of people don't even think about them becoming successful because they're like, oh fuck, it can never happen, it can never go down that road of anything like that, even coming close to that. All I can do is mediocre, and I'll stick to my 9 to 5 every single day, and I'll stay here and just be complacent with where I am. And a lot of that thinking kills a lot of people. It stops them dead in the water where they are. And you have an entire life. You have an entire life to become successful. No matter how old you are, you have an entire life to try still. You still have 30 years, 80 years, 90 years. It doesn't matter how long it's been or how short amount of time it's been. You still have that time to become successful. It's just what you are willing to change within yourself to become successful. And a lot of people aren't willing to change the things that are around them because they're very comfortable with what's around them. They've built a cage around themselves, and they're not willing to experience the uncomfortableness of trying something new. And the reason that is because you can lay in bed all day and be comfortable, but at the end of the day you still have that feeling of boredom, and you still have that feeling of, I should have always tried, or I should have gotten up and gone and done this instead of laying in bed all day. And that's what sitting in the same spot is for the rest of your life. That's just being complacent and comfortable with where you're at. It's never fun to do that. It's never fun to just sit there and do nothing all day. Some days it is, but doing that for the rest of your life is miserable. It's horrible for you. There's nothing worse than letting your being go to waste by sitting around and being comfortable with what you're doing. You have to get up and do something. You have to get out and do something. You can't just sit there and sit around and not think about becoming successful, not even want to try to become successful. Do something that makes you happy. Don't just sit around. Whether that involves anything, hiking, running, just playing video games, anything. Record yourself playing video games, record yourself going on a hike. Do anything that you think would help you. And sitting in one place and not chasing your dreams is never ever going to help where you're at. Mentally, physically, spiritually, it's never going to help anything that you're going to think of. It's never even going to help just you in general. It's something that just isn't fun. It's never fun to just sit there and do nothing. You have an entire life ahead of yourself, and in that life you only have one chance to live it. You only have one chance in this entire 80 years to live your life fully. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people sit and they're very unhappy with where they are, and that's just, it just doesn't help. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the people around you. If you're not happy, it doesn't help a single person. And if you sit and do that for your entire life, at the end of your life, when you're on your deathbed, are you going to look back and say you're happy? Or are you going to look back and say, I wish I did the things I could have, and I wish I could have done more things than just sit here? And to a lot of people, I guarantee they will sit there and say, I wish I would have done something different, and I wish I wasn't sitting in this situation that I am right now. And you may have good memories. You are almost definitely always going to have good memories, but are you going to be happy with where you're at? If you're surrounded by happy or family, of course you're going to be happy, but if you look back and you feel kind of empty on your life, are you ever going to be eternally happy when you close your eyes, or are you going to wish you did something more? Are you going to sit there and cry because you did nothing? You could have done something your entire life, so why don't you get up and do it now? Right now is the only time you can start. You can start tomorrow, but are you really going to start tomorrow? Are you truly going to just drop everything and just hit the ground running like nothing ever happened? Or you could start right now and you can just get it over with and see how it makes you feel. And if you don't like it, then don't do it. But if you do like it, hit the ground and take off with it. Take off with that shit. Do not just sit around and be complacent and sit there and be unhappy with where you are and sit in bed and cry yourself or sulk all night because you're not where you want to be. Hit the ground and just run with it. There's plenty of ideas people have that nobody ever had. You gotta just hit the ground and run. There's no point of sitting your entire life and being unhappy with where you are. And that goes into a bunch of different things. If you're stressed out your entire life because you're trying to build a bill, which you will, it happens in everyone's life, almost everyone's life. Some people are more fortunate than others. But if you sit there and are paying build a bill, imagine paying build a bill for maybe 5 years, and then the rest of your life you will never have to worry about a bill again. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty awesome to do. Or even just being able to travel the world. Not many people get to say that they went to all these different places, and even if you're filled with anxiety and all these different feelings, that's alright. Become comfortable with those feelings, because if you become comfortable with those feelings, then you're going to have a much better time pushing yourself out there. You're going to have a lot more stories for people. You're going to have a lot more you're going to be a lot more talkable to, I guess. And there may be people that you can go meet and have fun with and maybe start new relationships or bonds and start networking with, and you may see that what you're doing right now isn't where you want to be in life. And if you go and do that, then you're going to see where you want to be in life. You're going to meet a bunch of different people, you're going to hear a bunch of different stories, and you're going to be kind of depressed that you don't have any stories for them. It's because you're not really doing anything in your life. That's how I feel. I hear people tell stories all the time, and then I fucking pull up some story from 10 years ago, and they're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. I wish I had a story for every single day. And I will. I will have a story for every single day. I will have a new story every single week. I will have a new story every hour even. But right now is the process of time where I'm building that up right now. And it may take 1 year, it may take 2 years, it may take 5 years, who knows? But as long as you started, that's about, no one can say, not very many people at least can say that. Not very many people can say that they started and actually started doing it and gave an effort into it. And it feels a whole hell of a lot better to say you put an effort into it instead of just sitting there and doing nothing and just being okay with where you're at right now. And I mean, that's alright. You can be okay with where you're at right now, but you always have to try and change. You always have to try and change yourself for the better, because no one's perfect. No one's ever going to be perfect. there's plenty of people who put on a facade that they think they're better and they think they're perfect than everybody else, more perfect than everybody else, but they're not. They're truly not. They don't have the strength to see within themselves that they aren't. But if you have the strength to see within yourself and the power to see within yourself that you're not perfect and that you can change things about yourself, you will be a billion times better of a human being than they ever will. They can try and act like they're a better human being than you, but they will never be a better human being than you if you admit that you need to change. Say, for example, you have a lot of social anxiety. If you go out and start talking to new people, you will meet people who maybe are supposed to be in your life, maybe people who aren't, maybe people you learn a lesson from. But if you go out and network, then you're going to meet new opportunities and you're going to see new people and be able to go to new places. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that have given me opportunities that because I didn't want to really talk, I have turned down the opportunity of doing said thing and sat there, and then I'll look back and say, I wish I did that. I wish I would have gone to the said place, or I wish I would have done said thing. And as soon as I started putting myself out there and started talking to people, I have met so many new people in my life that are meant to be there, and I know for a fact that are meant to be there. And I have had more opportunities than I could ever count, and I've had more fun in my life than I've ever had before. But the thing is that you gotta go out and do whatever you're thinking about doing. You can't sit and be complacent. You gotta give yourself grace. You gotta give yourself the satisfaction, even if it's for no one, you gotta give yourself the satisfaction of that you did it. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what other people are gonna say about it. You absolutely have to do it for yourself, because at some points in your life it's only gonna be you, and at some points it's gonna get so fucking difficult that you're gonna wish somebody would just run and jump in your arms, and that'll never happen. It might happen, but there's a 99% chance that it won't happen. And a lot of people don't do it for themselves, they do it for other people. And you can do things for other people, but your main goal has to be for yourself. You have to save yourself before you save anyone else, because you are the most important person to walk the lands of this earth. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't have their own self-worth, but you have to give yourself that grace that even you're at the bottom, even though you're at the bottom and you don't know how to climb up, you gotta find a way to build yourself up with everything that's around you. And a lot of people start from the bottom. I'm not gonna say everyone starts from the bottom, because not a lot of people don't, because like I said, more people are more fortunate than others. But even if you're there, even if you're a little bit up and you don't know where to go, you still have to build up with the things around you. And it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter how it goes, it's nobody else's life but your own. And not a lot of people realize that. Not a lot of people realize that they're the ones living their own life. This isn't her life or his life or their life. It's your own life. There's no one else that can do this, that can do these things except for yourself. And I struggle with that a lot. I really do. I struggle with the fact that I don't know how to do it for myself. I feel like I always have to tell somebody about it. But it's celebrating the small things that matter. It's not the big things. All these small things will always build up to a big thing. But it's a matter of fact that even if you have so many people around you, you're always going to need time for yourself, and you're always going to need this certain period where nothing feels right, going out with somebody else, or like going and having fun and doing all these different things. You have to have a certain life for yourself instead of living it for everyone else. The fire inside you has to burn greater than the fire around you, and sometimes that's just the only way you can survive. And a lot of a lot of these things, including like social media and everything, is brought everyone's like ego down. I guess not really. It's built some people's egos up, and it's brought a lot of people's egos down. But everyone tries to put their lives or compare their lives to all these people or all these creators online who have a much better life than they do, and that's really what destroys them. That's really how everyone gets this jealousy fact or matter, and they're like, fuck, I can't do that. There's no way. Look how much fun they're having. There's no way that I could possibly do this because they just got up there. They just did that. But what they don't show is how much they struggle behind the camera. A lot of people struggle behind the camera more than they say. And sometimes they put on a facade that you wouldn't even realize how much they struggle. And there's a point where everyone goes through that. Even if you have the happiest life you could have ever possibly had, sometimes you're just sad, and that's alright. That's always going to be alright. But you can't stay sad forever. You can feel the emotion. You can be happy about the emotion that you're feeling sad, but putting yourself in those shoes of just being sad 24/7, it's going to bring down everyone else around you. Nobody's going to talk to somebody who's sad 24/7. Nobody's going to want to talk to somebody who just kind of sit there and doesn't really talk back, or they don't really put in effort to the conversation. You have to at some point be able to bring yourself up so you can bring out a point where you're at least happy. Even if you put on a fake demeanor where you think you're happy, everyone else thinks around you thinks you're happy, but when you're alone at night, that's when you have to find the things to do that do make you happy. That's when you have to really put forth the effort to try and be happy. And it's not the easiest thing to do. It really isn't. But sitting and being sad instead of doing something productive is so much worse than just sitting there. It's sitting and being sad isn't never going to be as bad as doing something for yourself so you're happy. Sitting and being sad is just going to make everything 100 times worse. No one should ever cry alone, and no one should ever feel the ways, or feel, people should feel sad. People should feel sad, but no one should ever feel sad forever, or for a long period of time. And a lot of people do like that, and I'm one of those people. I do like, I enjoy myself a good sad, just sitting there and doing nothing. But at the same time, I like finding myself, and that's another thing. You have to be the working towards yourself is trying to find yourself as well. It's not doing it because you want to or doing it because you need to. It's trying to find yourself and be the person you truly want to be. And that goes back to success. If you're the person you want to be, it's going to be a lot easier to climb that mountain, and it's going to be a lot easier to understand and be able to do, not just, hold on, let me restart that. It's going to be a lot easier to understand the emotions that you're feeling, and it's going to be a lot easier to find ways to get yourself out of these ruts. A lot of this video is me repeating myself, and I get that, but I don't know how to put it out in words, and that's kind of why I'm starting this as well, so I find better ways to put out words, if that makes any sense. But you just have to be able to find yourself. You have to be able to climb that mountain yourself, because not always people are going to be around you. And a lot of people don't realize that. They build a lot of reliance off somebody, and they really rely on the people around them for the ones to bring them up. But everyone else is dealing with their own struggles. So you absolutely have to find a way to be happy by yourself. And if you're happy by yourself, like everyone says, it's only at the top. And at everybody's life, they're going to be alone. There's going to be a point in their life where they're alone, and nobody likes that point. Nobody wants to live through that point. you also have to be happy with the people around you, and you have to be happy with the things they're doing, even if it's something that doesn't follow with what you're doing. As long as they're happy, man. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, and that's something really hard to get by. As if someone's happy, they're happy, and I don't understand that a lot, and I do give a lot of judgment to people. I'm a very judgmental person, and I wish I wasn't, but I'm starting to come to terms with that. People are just people. Everyone's dealing with their own things, and not life isn't always easy. It's just be happy for them. Be happy that they actually have that thing going for them, and just maybe it brings a different light to their life than it does to yours. And that's like saying you found something happy, and then somebody else is like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, I guess." That everyone is going through things, and a lot of people are, everyone's different. I'm not going to say a lot of people are different, but everyone's different. You may have the same interesting topics and people, but everyone's different, and it's never going to be the same. So be happy with where you're at, find new things to do, and try your best to do what you've always wanted to do. No matter how much heartbreak and trials and tribulations it takes, always try, no matter what. Good night, people.